बहुत मजा आया. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I laughed and there were people laughing, enjoying themselves. एक सिंगल स्क्रीन का अपना ही मजा है, honestly.
It was like your 2-minute Maggi noodles. I just felt good at that moment.
सब लोग बहुत खुश हो गए और सीटियां भी बजी और एक हाई सी निकली, Sandeep, there was like a high.
See, imagine watching a film on a basketball-sized court screen as opposed to your handkerchief-sized screen. Where will you enjoy it?
Obviously, we enjoyed everything on 70 mm.
There you go.
She wanted to insult him, right? That was the point of the whole scene, that he should feel unwelcome.
First of all, this whole funda of labeling things, right? And you label things, rather. You can't label people here.
And emotions.
And emotion.
So what is this guy doing then?
Having protein shake.
Having protein shake and delivering big laddus for birthdays and all.
Achha. You're listening to Dime a Dozen Films podcast. Namaskar, Adab, Sat Sri Akal, and hello to everybody. We are back again with another very exciting episode, which I think people are going to enjoy because this film is making waves. And so we thought that, we would talk about this film. I'm very happy to have my guests, Sandeep Padhi and Janish Murgai again.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Hello, Janish. Thank you for being here again. And so happy to have you here. Sandeep Padhi, so happy to have you.
Hello, Nalini ji, Ashu ji, Janish bhai. Thanks for having me over again. I'm sure it'll be fun, like it has always been.
Yes, it's going to be a fun podcast. And Ashu ji, आपका दिन कैसा था?
मेरा दिन तो गदर के बारे में पता करते गया और मतलब मुझे पता करने की जरूरत थी. इंफॉर्मेशन आती रही गदर के बारे में, ओ माय गॉड के बारे में, जेलर के बारे में. और पर्सनली अगर आप मुझे पूछे तो मैं बहुत खुश हूं आज के दिन, बिकॉज ये पता नहीं कितने अरसे के बाद ये हफ्ता ऐसा आया है जो फिल्म इंडस्ट्री ने इतना कमाल का काम किया है. इतने अच्छे कलेक्शंस हैं, लोग थिएटरों में जाकर के पिक्चर देख रहे हैं. इससे अच्छी क्या बात हो सकती है? So I've had a very good day.
That's wonderful to hear. So to all our lovely listeners out there, welcome to another wonderful podcast. I'm saying wonderful myself, but I think I'm allowed to do that, of Dime a Dozen Films. And today we're going to talk about a very recent release. I'm sure a lot of you out there would have seen it. Some of you may not have seen it, but it's called Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahani. So amongst the four of us, we haven't discussed the film at all, but the four of us have seen it, all at different points of time. Somebody saw it on the day of release, somebody later. And we are here to talk about this film and what each of us thinks about it. And we thought that it deserves a podcast for more than one reason. So without further ado, I am going to head to Sandeep first for his views because he has seen the film and I would like the listeners to hear what he has to say about it. So Sandeep, over to you for your first impression of Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahani, and also tell us when you got to see it.
Okay, so I believe I watched it the week after it released. And to be very honest, I had no plans of watching it. The trailer and none of it really excited me enough to go and watch the film in the theaters. But I had to because of some reasons, and I ended up watching the film with no expectations. If anything, my expectation was that I would be disappointed as usual. The reasons I will discuss later. But and since you mentioned that what's your first impression, and I only have one impression on this, which is my immediate reaction or immediate impression on how it affected me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay, and especially the first half, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I am enjoying a Hindi film in a big screen after quite some time. That could have been one of the reasons, but the throwback, the retro songs, Dharampaji and Shabana, and that beautiful casting and the roles that they play, overall it worked for me. I don't think the film is gonna stay with me long enough, or I don't think I'm even gonna revisit it. It's not that kind of a film, but uh, it was like your 2 minute Maggie noodles, right? I mean, I just felt good at that moment, and that was my first impression of it. Yeah.
Okay, Sandeep, you said something very interesting, and I didn't want to interrupt you at that point. So you said that you had to watch it. So who twisted your arm?
Actually, my wife had not visited a theater in more than a year because we had a baby a while back.
Oh,
So,
ओ मुबारक हो
अरे
मुबारक हो
मुबारक हो, हमें तो पता ही नहीं था
Congratulations,
संदीप.
Sandeep. Congratulations.
अरे,
thank you. So she hadn't been to the theater in a long time, and somehow things worked out that this had to be her first film. I mean, there was time on our hands, so I said, okay.
Was this the baby's first film also?
No, we haven't taken the baby to the theater yet.
No, I thought he will start his filmy career with a Karan Johar film.
No, I have kept any Bachchan film in mind, whatever is out around that time, for the initiation.
Sandeep, Sandeep, what Ashadi has just said is your babies will be, first film will be a Karan Johar film is the height of nepotism, Sandeep.
True.
And also, you know, I wanted to ask you, of course, you're talking about it in such a fun way. So did your wife have a good time?
She did.
Okay,
And
great.
like we both had similar issues with the film, or wherever we had, but the rest of it, wherever we enjoyed, especially the first half, the entire first half, we were on the same page in terms of how the film worked out. And this, despite her having liked few of the earlier works of Karan Johar, like Kuch Kuch Hota Hai and probably K3G. I have not liked any of his full-length feature films till now. None. Even back in school when I was Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, it didn't work for me.
Not even My Name is Khan, Sandeep.
No, because I could see a lack of conviction in the whole politics. When films enter into a geopolitical zone, right? I would like those films to go a little deeper rather than staying superficial, which I have a problem with many filmmakers, so it's not specific to him. So that is why My Name is Khan also didn't work for me, but I can say that of all the other films that I have watched from directed by Karan Johar, My Name is Khan would be one of the better ones. But right now, Rocky or Rani is, for me at least.
So Sandeep, is it safe to say that this is the first Karan Johar film that you have really enjoyed?
A full-length film, yes.
Oh, okay, great. All right. Okay.
I've liked the shots, couple of his shots that he directed. One in that Bombay Talkies anthology, the first one that they made in the Bombay Talkies anthology. I've liked that.
The Rani Mukherjee one with Randeep Hooda.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Again, another common link is that in both the films there is very good use of retro Hindi film music. So, and I have to give it to him that the way the songs are used in the film, right? A hardcore lover of music of those times would even think of incorporating those particular songs in those situations. So I kind of had a soft corner for that.
In Rocky or Rani, na?
In Rocky or Rani.
Yeah. Okay, so first impressions, that was lovely. So I'm heading over to Janish now. Janish, what were your first impressions and when did you get to see Rocky or Rani?
So I saw it on the first Sunday in the afternoon in a single screen at Chitra. Yeah. And
Oh,
I
Chitra
think
is a great
that's-
theater.
Yeah. And that's what added to the flavor because everyone around us was enjoying it. I also was not very keen to watch the movie, honestly. But as my brother was going, his daughters were going, my son wanted to see it. Chalo saath mein jate hain. You know, it was like a family outing. So I said, let's go, everyone go. And I'm glad I did, honestly. बहुत मजा आया. Thoroughly enjoyed it. बहुत I laughed. and there were people laughing, enjoying themselves. एक single screen का अपना ही मजा है, honestly. I I think that added to my experience of watching the movie. So I can say I found the movie entertaining, and it raised some good points also, though it didn't delve deep into them. But I resonate with Sandeep when he says that the movie is entertaining. Absolutely, and it is one of Karan Johar's better movies, definitely. Yeah, that's
Hey,
my two
Janish,
cents.
taking off from what you're saying, please tell us about the single screen experience. Were you sitting नीचे या balcony पे?
Balcony में बैठा था मैं और मजा आ रहा है मुझे बहुत. There was a line of Parsi Babas sitting in front of me, and they were having a rollicking time. वो हंस रहे थे, हम भी हंस रहे थे साथ साथ में, and because they were laughing so much, enjoying so much more, the whole theater, that row and 2-3 rows, we were enjoying a lot more. I guess that's what added to the enthusiasm and experience of the movie.
So
अच्छा.
Janish
It
bhai,
was
that's exactly what big screen was meant for, isn't it? Community experience.
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So it was a thoroughly enjoyable community experience, you can say. Yeah.
Acha, do you not that we want to give anything away and to people who might not have seen it yet, but since you're saying that this Parsi group of people were laughing so much, so is there any one or two things, what were they laughing at most, in your opinion? Obviously, the first half, I'm thinking, right? But even in the first half,
Absolutely.
what really brought out so much laughter, if you can
So
remember?
they were laughing at the PJs also. So even his basically his English, the way Ranveer Singh was speaking his English, they were laughing at that too. Actually, Ranveer Singh actually nailed the part, right? I have come across such people, and that's how they behave. Who are into bodybuilding, they always have their protein shake with them, and the way he was just talking and every time, and I think the chemistry between Ranveer and Alia also helped. And when she smiled, I smiled looking at Ranveer Singh. That's the
Hmm.
kind of effect I had. Like even I could hear the oohs and ahs also. Oh, so sweet. All these small comments were coming in from everyone around me. And
Acha.
yeah, yeah. Oh, so
Acha.
sweet. How adorable. No, all these things were coming in.
अच्छा,
Yeah,
तो आपको काफी मजा आया.
बहुत मजा आया.
अच्छा, इसके बारे में डिटेल में बात तो करेंगे. और अब मैं जा रही हूँ आशु जी की तरफ, जिन्होंने शायद बहुत ही रिसेंटली देखी है फिल्म. तो मुझे लगता है कि संदीप, जनीश और मुझसे ज्यादा आशु जी की याददाश्त है फिल्म के बारे में ज्यादा स्ट्रांग होगी, बिकॉज ही इज जस्ट सीन इट. एंड तो आशु जी, आप बताएं आपको कैसी लगी पिक्चर.
हाँ, मैंने अभी कुछ दिनों पहले ही देखी. मैंने तो मल्टीप्लेक्स में जाके देखी फिल्म. और मुझे फिल्म जो है वो ठीक लगी. मुझे फिल्म जो है वो ऐसी कड़ाकेदार नहीं लगी, क्योंकि हालांकि मेरे लिए यहाँ जब आप लोगों से बात कर रहा हूँ, तो मुझे यहाँ पे भी बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिल रहा है, बिकॉज ऑडियंसेस का रिएक्शन जो है वो अपने आप में बहुत सारी चीजें सिखाता है. शायद मेरे फिल्म देखने का नजरिया थोड़ा सा बदल गया है. शायद मैं थोड़ा और इंडस्ट्री के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से या टेक्निकली चीजों से देख रहा हूँ या वट एवर. नॉट दैट द फिल्म इज टेक्निकली वीक इन एनी वे, बट बहुत सारी दूसरी चीजें हैं जो मैं इतनी आसानी से रिलेट नहीं कर पाया. जो प्रोटीन शेक लेकर के चलते हैं, मैंने भी देखे प्रोटीन शेक लेकर के चलते हैं, मैं भी उनके साथ रहा हूँ. लेकिन मुझे शायद ही कोई ऐसा बंदा मिला है जिसकी अंग्रेजी इतनी खराब है, और वहीं पे उसकी बहन जो है वो अंग्रेजी इतनी अच्छी बोलती है.
ये मैंने भी
जनरली
नोट
हर
किया
हर
आशु
चीज,
जी, ये बहुत ही. हाँ, हाँ जी.
हर जगह पे इंग्लिश उसकी इम्पेकेबल है इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रोनाउंसिएशन एंड वट एवर. पता नहीं, मुझे समझ में नहीं आया कि सडनली ऐसी जगहों पे वो वर्ड्स जो स्विच हो जाते हैं, जैसे वो ऑर्गेजमिक बोलना चाहते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की जगह. तो मुझे लगा कि हाँ ठीक है, इट्स अ गुड पंच ओवर देयर टू हैव, बट आई थॉट मुझे इफ दिस गर्ल इज स्पीकिंग इम्पेकेबल इंग्लिश अदरवाइज, हर जगह पे उसका प्रोनाउंसिएशन भी करेक्ट है, तो अगर आपका प्रोनाउंसिएशन भी इतना अच्छा है, तो आप वर्ड कैसे एकदम ही गलत बोल देते हो जो बिल्कुल ही नजदीक नहीं है कहीं पे. तो ऑब्वियसली इट इज डन फॉर इफेक्ट, विच इज फाइन. बट मुझे फिल्म ठीक लगी. मुझे फिल्म एक बार देखने लायक हो सकती है, ऐसी है फिल्म. इंपॉर्टेंट बात क्या लगी जो संदीप ने कहा, कि ये फिल्म आप देखोगे, देख के भूल जाओगे. अगर आज नलिनी जी आप बोल रहे हो मेरे को कि आपने रिसेंट देखी है, और आप मतलब मैंने रिसेंटली देखी है, और मेरी याददाश्त ज्यादा होगी, तो मुझे लगता है फिल्म जो है ना, उसकी याददाश्त, आप लोग पिक्चर को रिलीज हुए 2 हफ्ते भी नहीं, हफ्ता भी नहीं हुआ शायद, कितना टाइम हुआ पिक्चर को रिलीज हुए?
More than 2 weeks
एक
now.
हफ्ता हुआ है? अच्छा,
More
दो
than two
हफ्ते
weeks.
ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है। तो 2 हफ्ते पिक्चर हुए रिलीज, अगर आप 2 हफ्ते के अंदर अंदर पिक्चर जो है उसको देख करके उसकी चीजें याद रहती है तो अच्छी बात है, लेकिन फिल्म जो है, when people come out of the theaters and start talking about events, situations, characters, jokes from the film, that is when there is a major recall that happens. और इस फिल्म का रिकॉल है, इस फिल्म में लोग गए हैं, स्लो चढ़ी है। इनिशियली लोग जो है वो, मतलब पहले दिन का फर्स्ट हाफ में इतने ज्यादा लोग जितना एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे उतने गए नहीं, वो धीरे धीरे करके गए हैं। लेकिन इवेंचुअली फिल्म ने ठीक ठीक ठाक काम किया है, ठीक ठाक लोग भी गए हैं पिक्चर देखने के लिए। तो पर्सनली आई थिंक इट वाज ओके।
Okay, but before I come to me, I just wanted to ask Janish and Sandeep and Ashuji that in the interval and stuff like that, since y'all are saying that the audience was also enjoying it so much, so what used to happen in single screens is, when people used to come out, they used to chat about the film, and there was something. So did you overhear any kind of comments about the film when you came out or when you were going home, or anything interesting you want to share with us about the film? Sandeep, if you'd like to go
So,
first.
yeah, so I should have actually watched it in a single screen or any other theater. So what happened with me is kind of funny. So in Bangalore, there is this new screen that has opened, which is called the Director's Cut, PVR Director's Cut.
Ah,
So, it has all the seats are recliner, and you can order things and they will be served at the seat itself and stuff like that. So since I was taking my wife out after a long time for a movie, I went to director's cut, and like as expected, there was kind of a slightly uptight crowd in there. So there was no, although I could see that people were gushing at certain places, and those controlled, stiff upper lip expressions, that they were giving, they were enjoying it, but that is the maximum that in that particular crowd the reaction would have been. And it doesn't matter where I watch a film. When I enjoy it, I express my enjoyment. Right? That is the way I watch films. Otherwise, there is no point. So if all of you remember, there is a particular scene where Dharampaji suddenly breaks into that song.
Yeah.
Abhi na jao chhod ke.
And he gets up from the wheelchair, right?
And he
Yes.
gets up. I whistled.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That was like a, so it is an equivalent of what you call a mass moment, right? Rajinikanth entry or a Bachchan entry, or things like that. These are the things that I have grown up enjoying on the big screen, and so it was almost it was kind of a reflex action on my part, because the moment I saw that, I was completely overwhelmed by that. I suspended disbelief immediately. In probably in a different film, in a different kind of settings, I would have yawned at that and saying, "Ye kaise ho gaya? Kya ho raha hai? What is this rubbish?" Right? I might have, but the build-up was such, and the song that he broke into was so apt, right? It just sent me back into a very different, proper Hindi cinema zone that has been missing in Hindi cinema. But again, that's a different topic. So I just immediately stood up and I whistled.
Yeah. Wow. Nice.
People were like, "Kya ho gaya hai?"
So in Chitra, the same scene had got whistles and claps. Absolutely, people were thoroughly enjoyed that scene, and they were laughing their heart out looking at Jaya Bachchan's reactions. So that was one highlight. And in the interval, people were talking about the same scene, and they just absolutely loved that scene.
अच्छा, आशु जी, आपको कुछ ऐसे यादगार मोमेंट जब आप बाहर निकले तो कोई डिस्कशन हुआ था?
जैसे मैंने कहा, मैंने मल्टीप्लेक्स में जाके देखी पिक्चर, और मुझे ना थिएटर में भी रिएक्शन बड़े म्यूटेड से थे। कुछ जगहों पे हंसी आ रही थी और काफी जगहों पे चुप करके लोग पिक्चर देख रहे थे। लेकिन इंटरवल में किसी ने कोई ना डायलॉग की बात की, ना फिल्म की सीन की, ना सिचुएशन की। पिक्चर खत्म होने के बाद में भी बाहर जब निकले तब भी कोई किसी ने इस फिल्म के बारे में बात नहीं की। और मुझे इतनी अच्छी बात आपने कही है ना नलिनी जी, कि सिंगल स्क्रीन में खास करके वो जो दिल के साथ स्क्रीन कनेक्ट होता है ना ऑडियंसेस का, वो वाला फील कहीं ना कहीं मल्टीप्लेक्स में चले जाता है। एक चीज है ना, मैं जनी जी का मैं वो कहना चाहता हूँ कि वो कह रहे थे कि वो छोटे छोटे पीजेस में भी लोग हंस रहे थे। अब हंसी ऐसी कंटेजियस चीज है कि चार अगर हंसना शुरू करते हैं ना, तो उसके साथ साथ 20 और हंसना शुरू कर देते हैं, और उससे धीरे धीरे पूरा थिएटर जो है वो हंसता है। लेकिन अगर आप मल्टीप्लेक्स में बैठे और ज्यादा लोग हंस नहीं रहे हैं, तो जहाँ हंसनी हंसी आने वाली जगह है ना, वहां पे भी हंसी नहीं आती है, क्योंकि लोग बोलते हैं यार ये क्या हो गया, समझ नहीं आया। तो सिंगल स्क्रीन में इंटरवल में लोग आकर के सीन डिस्कस करते हैं, आगे क्या होने वाला है डिस्कस करते हैं। वो लोग एंटिसिपेट करते हैं कि ये होने वाला है, ऐसा कुछ होने वाला है। ऐसा कुछ भी मेरी अनफॉर्चुनेटली मेरे थिएटर में नहीं हुआ।
जी।
तो हो सकता है संगत का भी असर हो, कुछ चीजें हो सकती है ऐसी हो, बट no, it didn't happen in my theater, the one where I saw. But I must tell you that although I must have seen the film on maybe the 10th day or something like that, the theater was almost 60-70% full. And that is commendable.
Sure, of course, yes. And on the 10th day, you're saying, yeah, to
Yeah.
have that full, yeah.
So that's commendable. That's very, very nice. और मैं शाम का शो जाके देखा था.
Box office wise, this year has been good for Bollywood till now, for the Hindi film industry. I beg your pardon. Yeah.
अभी तक कुछ फिल्में जो है वो अच्छी गई हैं. Of course, we expect more to happen because we really want people to come wholeheartedly into the theater and try and watch it. बहुत ज्यादा नेगेटिविटी हो गई है, जिसकी वजह से पता नहीं क्यों लोग जो है वो थिएटरों में आने से कतरा रहे हैं. हम तो कोशिश कर रहे हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि लोग थिएटरों में आए और पिक्चर को बड़े सिनेमा पे एंजॉय करें. मैं ना जब छोटा था तब एक बड़ी अच्छी बात कही जाती थी. आई जस्ट वांट टू पुट इट आउट हियर कि इमेजिन वॉचिंग अ फिल्म on a basketball size court screen as opposed to your handkerchief sized screen. Where will you enjoy it?
Obviously, we enjoyed everything on 70 mm.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 70 mm is the best.
Yeah. अच्छा जी, this is really fun. अच्छा, अब मैंने ये फिल्म जब ये आई थी और इसका ट्रेलर भी आया था, तो मुझे कुछ खास कुछ लगा नहीं. And just like what Sandeep was saying, I wasn't really egged on to see it, but I saw the film at a screening. So you can imagine when it's at a screening where some of the actors who are there, who are present, they'd be very excited, because each one wants to see themselves on screen or whatever. These were not, of course, the big stars, but the other characters. So my son and I went, and just like Sandeep, I don't know about Janish, he didn't say anything, but Sandeep did say that he went without expectation. So I went with, actually, both my son and I, we went with sub-zero expectation, next to nothing. And so we went there. Absolutely, I had no expectations because I didn't even care for the trailer, and it looked like a regular whatever film that you've been there, done that, with a few changes here and there. So like you said that you whistle when Dharamji stood up. Obviously in the cinema, in the multiplex that I was, there was clapping, there was whistling, when he stood up and started walking. And then much later, I don't know, maybe a couple of days, I don't know when it was, that I saw an interview that Karan Johar had given, and in which he said that he purposely put the scene there because he wanted to do a Manmohan Desai kind of suspension of disbelief. So I guess in that sense, he was successful, because people have really loved that scene, no matter what, they're just willing to forget कि ये हो सकता नहीं हो सकता. वो गाना चला और ये उठे और सब लोग बहुत खुश हो गए, और सीटियां भी बजी और एक हाई सी निकली, Sandeep, there was like a high, in the auditorium. So because we went with absolutely no expectation, and it took a little warming up in the film, and I was already a little cynical about this film, कि मतलब क्या नया होगा इसमें, and there are a lot of cringe scenes in this, but it kind of, in the interval, both my son and I, we came out, and my son turned to me and said, Mama, it's not as bad as we expected, because a couple of places we actually laughed. We did laugh, we enjoyed it, the first half. and then came the second half and all everything that goes with the second half. पर मेरा फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन फिल्म का ये था कि मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं एक्सपेक्ट कर रही थी और मुझे कुछ मिला। और जैसे मैंने शायद आशा जी को बोला था कि एवरीबडी विल प्रेज रणवीर सिंह अलॉट, लेकिन जो परफॉर्मेंस मुझे बहुत पसंद आई इसमें आलिया भट्ट की, और मुझे धर्म जी के ने मुझे रुला दिया, एंड आई एम सेइंग नॉट रुला दिया इन द एंड, उनको देख के ही मैं बहुत इमोशनल हो गई थी। धर्म जी जब पहली बार स्क्रीन में आए थे तब मैं इमोशनल हो गई थी। तो इन दोनों रीजंस की वजह से शायद मुझे फिल्म ठीक लगी, इतनी बुरी नहीं लगी, काफी मजा भी आया, जोक्स अच्छे भी थे। तो दैट इज माय फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन।
मैं कुछ एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज जो है वो कहना चाहता हूँ, और मुझे मालूम है आप सब सहमत होंगे, एंड वी शुड ब्रिंग दिस आउट रियली वेल बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट ओनली फॉर द लिसनर्स एंड आई एम श्योर दे विल ऑल्सो अग्री विद इट। बट एक चलन मैंने देखा है रिसेंटली, थिएटर में जाकर के लोग जो है ना पिक्चर के मोबाइल्स ऑन करते हैं, मोबाइल्स ऑन करके उनके पोर्शंस जो हैं फिल्म के रिकॉर्ड करते हैं और लाइव इंस्टाग्राम पे, रील्स पे, just to say that they are in the theater, they are watching the film or whatever that they're doing, they record it and put it on screen. और मुझे लगता है पर्सनली दिस इज अ रियली 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 बैड थिंग टू डू बिकॉज द इंडस्ट्री हैज ग्रैपल्ड विद पायरेसी इन अ वेरी बिग वे, और ये जितने कर रहे हैं उनको शायद ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि ये कुछ लेवल तक की पायरेसी है। बिकॉज आपने टिकट खरीदी, आप जाके पिक्चर देख रहे हैं, और वहां पे आता है स्क्रीन में सबसे पहले कि आप मोबाइल या किसी इंस्ट्रूमेंट के साथ में आप फिल्म को या किसी पोर्शन को रिकॉर्ड नहीं कर सकते, बट आप रिकॉर्ड करते हैं और आप उसको इंस्टाग्राम के रील्स में डालते हैं। बहुत इजीली ट्रेस किया जा सकता है कि ये कौन है जो कर रहा है, एंड दिस इज अ क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटी। मे बी यूल बी फाइंड, मे बी यूल गो बिहाइंड बार्स, और मे बी इट्स अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ बोथ। बट आई थिंक जितनी जल्दी ये रोक लिया जाए ना उतना अच्छा है। बिकॉज इसको मतलब मैं अगर आपके घर में आपके बिजनेस में आकर के चोरी करके जाऊं तो आपको बुरा लगेगा, आपका दिल दर्द करेगा। ये लिटरली चोरी है जो आप फिल्म मेकर्स के बिजनेस में उनके हार्ड अर्न्ड स्वेट ब्लड जो भी बोलना है सारों का मिश्रण मिलकर के जब एक पिक्चर बनती है तो हम चाहते हैं कि लोग थिएटरों में आकर के पिक्चर देखें और वो पिक्चरें जो है वो पिक्चर को चलाए, लो और बात करें लोग बाहर जाकर के और आए। बट ये जो चलन है, एक तो क्या है जो साथ में बैठे लोग होते हैं वो भी इरिटेट होते हैं, डिस्टर्ब होते हैं, बट आपको ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि ये गुनाह है, दिस इज अ क्राइम। आई थिंक इट इज अ सीरियस थिंग। व्हाट डू यू गाइस थिंक? आई नीडेड टू पुट दिस आउट बिकॉज आई बीन सीइंग दिस frequently of late, and I needed to put this out into the open for everybody else to talk or discuss about. Maybe I will get a lot of trolling because of what I'm saying here, but
No, no, this I agree with you, Ashuji. I totally agree with you. This is absolutely not done. A filmmaker with the sweat, blood of so many people comes together on screen, and these youngsters, they just to get likes and to be trending, they put it out on the screen, like especially they put out spoilers. That's the worst part. हम मूवी देखने जा रहे हैं तो हाउ विल पीपल एंजॉय द मूवी द एक्सपीरियंस, एंड वो
true.
फोन लेके बैठ जाते हैं। एब्सोल्युटली दिस absolutely, I think the industry should absolutely tell the theaters, please be strict about this thing. It needs to be stopped right away, because these days we don't even see the ushers moving around the theater. Earlier I remember ushers used to come and stop people from recording the screen. I think this has to be taken up seriously by the industry. आखिर नुकसान तो इंडस्ट्री का ही हो रहा है।
Sandeep, what are your views on this?
I totally agree with what Ashuji mentioned, and then Janish bhai also spoke, and I'm really glad that you brought this up, Ashuji, because ये बहुत बड़ा न्यूसेंस हो रहा है दिन ब दिन, एंड आई डोंट नो कि ये कहाँ जाके रुकेगा। एंड from very recent experience, like yesterday, day before, there were two pretty big releases here, Jailer and then followed by Chiranjeevi's Bhola Shankar. And the normal watching a film on a first day, first show of a big superstar used to be a huge thing. The craze, the excitement of the fans, and all of this. Now one additional irritant has entered this equation, and which is that right from the moment the movie starts, the camera start coming out from every end of the theater, and people start recording, and somebody just records probably the title card to show that there is a fan excitement and all of that. Agreed, the title card remains the same. You want to tell people that you are enjoying the film or you are here first day first show, ठीक है. But film start होने के बाद and crucial moments, and then putting it out and saying this scene by XYZ was like uh, brilliant. But there are other people who are going to watch the film. I mean, इसका जो अनएथिकल पार्ट है और जो बिजनेस पे इम्पैक्ट है वो तो आशु जी ने बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया है. आई डोंट वांट टू गेट इनटू दैट. वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड जस्ट टू ऐड टू दैट कि सिनेमा है तो सिनेफाइल्स हैं यार. Like we get all our you call it dopamine hit, or you call it admiration, you call it whatever, right? We love cinema, and for cinema to also continue existing, there is some onus on the audience as well. Like तुमको क्यों कैमरा निकालना है? And also on on a different but related note, ये सोशल मीडिया से बाहर जिंदगी जीना सीखो ना. कैमरा is supposed to be a dark, I mean the theater is supposed to be a dark room. The magic happens when the lights go out. That is the time when the big screen lights up. It's magic. Isn't that enough? So I don't know what to say. It's a very dangerous trend that is picking up, and it is just to get that high of putting out something before others. कि ये फिल्म है, इसमें ये सीन है, देखो क्या सीन है, ये मैंने पहले देख लिया. अरे दूसरों को भी देखने दो. I don't know. I just get irritated at this.
I totally agree.
Sandeep, while Ashuji and Janish and you were speaking, मेरा खून खौलते जा रहा है. I'm so angry about this. I think the last film that I saw in the cinema hall before I saw this, somebody did the same thing. And knowing me, and I stop them. I make a noise in the cinema hall because there are no ushers. Like Janish has pointed out, you know, I'm sorry to say, but as Indians, one thing we lack is civic sense. We just have, you know, आशुजी ने बहुत बड़ी बात बोली, जनीश ने बहुत बड़ी बात बोली कि सिनेमा वालों जो फिल्म बनाते हैं उनके बारे में सोचो, उनके बिजनेस के बारे में सोचो, उनके पायरेसी के बारे में सोचो. मैं तो कह रही हूँ वो तो at some other level, हम तो we don't even care about what we are doing to the person sitting next to us, right? We don't even have the etiquette. We do not have basic manners. We lack it. We are a nation that does not stand in line. Okay, we push people, but we are the same people who, when we go overseas, and if you're in a department store, there is, and this is not just because of COVID, there is a 2-foot distance or maybe more now between a customer reaching the counter, the paying counter, and the next person. And there's a line drawn in department stores. And the Indians are the first people who go by those rules, right? We are so good when we go overseas. But I'm so amazed that when I went to see Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahani, where behind me, left of me, right over there in the front, because they were actors who had acted in this film. And so they were so excited to be seen on the big screen. They were doing the same thing. फिर वो क्या है? The other thing is that if you're sitting there, doesn't the light of the mobile phone disturb your vision?
That is what I said. That is what I said. It is irritating.
Yeah. So the joy of watching films in the cinema hall have been ruined by us only. As a nation, we want policing everywhere.
Absolutely.
Or you know, Sandeep, what is really disturbing, that they will put up these things on Instagram and people will go and tali maro there.
Yeah.
तो हम लोग क्या encourage कर रहे हैं इन लोगों को?
There are people who are liking it and giving them that dopamine hit, right? That's why they do it again and
Yeah.
again and again.
और पता है रात को क्या हुआ? I just went to YouTube for something, right? And I was looking for a video, and the first video that came on YouTube, you'll not believe, I felt so angry. But of course, I was angry, but I watched it, okay? Because it was on YouTube, all right? So somebody has put up the entire climax of Gadar 2.
Oh, how terrible.
How terrible.
I will report it. I will go and report it
I
definitely.
think you should, yeah.
So coming back to Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani, uh, what are the memorable moments? Let's talk about what is this, what is the most important, what is the best thing that you've liked in Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani? Let's start with you, Sandeep, because you seem to have enjoyed the film the most. Janish has also enjoyed it, but let's start with you.
Yeah, so straight off the bat, that particular sequence where Dharampaji gets up from the wheelchair and sings Abhi Na Jao Chhod Ke.
Huh.
Nothing to beat that. I mean, that's my favorite moment in theater of this year. I mean, that was just, it was so simple yet a throwback to the kind of love stories that used to be made in the 50s, and that just stayed with me. Apart from that, I really liked few scenes between Alia and Ranveer that worked beautifully for me, especially the one during was it the interval sequence where that's there in the trailer also, so I think I can talk about it, where she takes a car and hits his car and then asks him to shut up, right, and listen to. बाकी बहुत छोटे छोटे मोमेंट्स हैं जैसे कि जया बच्चन का एक्सप्रेशन and this one particular moment was just damn good. There's nothing much said here, but when Shabana Azmi and Dharampaji meet, and then Jaya Bhaduri just sitting next to Dharampaji, and she says, "Mere husband." That's all she says. But he has that, like, he's
I remember.
taken, he's taken kind of a moment, and it was just too good. And yeah, I think the others will cover. There is one dialogue, especially, which will stay with me for the longest time from this film, uh, which I believe all of you will remember when she says, "Ye gajni aur wo sajni hai dikhne mein lagi." That was another whistle-worthy moment for me. But yeah, those were the ones.
Janish, what about you? What were the standout moments for you?
So besides the comedic moments and the funny moments, for me, uh, honestly, there are three moments in the movie which had an impact on me, and I uh, got drawn into the drama of those moments. When Charni Ganguly takes him bra shopping, right? That's a standout moment for
Why
one.
is that a
And
standout moment for you, Janish? What is the reason for that?
so
If I may
what she
ask.
says is absolute right, right? हम औरतें चड्डियां घिसती हैं आपकी. It's absolute truth. Women have been doing it for ages, but men, when it comes publicly, they shy away from even touching a bra or even taking the name of a bra. To be honest, so absolutely, this has to be called out. This is patriarchy at its peak. To be honest, one of the things which he nailed it, Karan Johar. And I think the dialogue writer is Ishita Moitra. Hats off to her too. I feel this is one of the great good moments in the movie. The second moment, the monologue by Ranveer Singh, where he talks about cancel culture, where he talks about how he calls his sister Golu, and he didn't realize that calling her Golu was basically body shaming her, and all those things, right? It's actually like uh, how our upbringing is, that matters. And sometimes we don't even realize when we make snide comments or comments which are hurtful to other people. Like हम ऐसी कितनी बार बोल देते थे. I remember as a child, I remember I doing it myself as a small 11 or 12-year old. When I saw a Nepali person, I used to say chinky hai ye. It's absolutely racist and it's absolutely wrong, right? But but हमको कोई correct करने वाला नहीं था. Only as we grow up we get to know that this is wrong, right? So I found that monologue also very impactful. Uh, and again, the third moment for me was the Dola Re Dola dance. Amazing.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
absolutely loved it.
Hmm.
Tota Roy, his name is Tota Roy Chaudhary, I think so.
Tota Roy Chowdhury.
Tota Roy Chaudhary, yes, and Ranveer Singh. Absolutely. What a beautiful moment. Excellently choreographed, and it was heartwarming more than anything else. It was for me very very heartwarming. It was like a touch of pink to my heart, to be honest. I
Hmm.
absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Hmm. Ashuji?
So before I start now, I want to just counter what Janish ji said.
Of course.
That when you're saying that औरतें जो हैं आदमियों की चड्डियां घिसती हैं और इनको लड़कियों के इनरवेयर के बारे में बात करने के लिए भी टेंशन होती है। ठीक है, इसमें कोई खराब बात नहीं है। मेरा ये बोलना है कि औरतें कौन सा कब बाहर आकर के बोलती है कि हम चड्डियों की बात करते हैं या चड्डियों के बारे में जो चीजें हैं वो करते हैं। क्या होता है ना, कुछ चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जो प्राइवेट होती है, प्राइवेट मोमेंट पे होती है, प्राइवेट अब घर के अंदर की बातें होती है। अब वो घर के अंदर करते हो। इफ टुडे sure the women are washing the undergarments of men, which now has gone into washing machine also. They're doing it within the realm of their own rooms, bathrooms, or if they're going publicly, it is happening where only women are around. They're not going and talking about it like needs to be talked. So if a man is not talking about a bra publicly, there's nothing wrong about it, personally, and that is what Ranveer Singh counters also. He says it, and that is why I think the monologue of Ranveer Singh is outstanding. मैं बताऊं क्या हुआ ना, रिसेंटली चीजों को टर्म करना, इमोशन को टर्म करना, एक इंसान के बारे में बात करना, वो it has become very fashionable to want to go and term something about it. For example, मैं जब छोटा था, हम जब दोस्त जो हैं गले मिलते थे, भाई गले मिलते थे, या बाप जो है वो बेटे को किस करता था या जो भी था, we were doing it purely out of heart. And then there was an NRI cousin who came or somebody else came, and if you saw two friends walking hand in hand, it was a pure emotion just walking hand in hand. But they termed it as in, they said this is are they gay, as in terms of wanting to make fun, which I do not want to do that because that's not the right thing to do. But they started terming it. For example, you know, in a love story, when there is a boy who's going after a girl, or a girl who's going after a guy, in the initial stages of love story, uh, well, let me tell you about my experience. I was talking about a romantic film, and I was doing a narration in a boardroom, and a 22-year-old boy sitting in the boardroom says, uh, "Isn't this stalking?" So I said, name me one film globally, internationally, where the man is not gone after his heart, or the woman hasn't gone after his heart, or even in real life, where they're not persistent in wanting to follow a woman of his choice, or her, or a man of her choice. How is that stalking? If it is happening within the limits of decency, and if the girl says no, I don't want you to do it, and the boy constantly keeps on insisting despite that, then it could be stalking. But हमको ना आजकल किसी भी चीज को टर्म करना बहुत अच्छा लगता है, और इमोशन जो है ना उसको टर्म, I don't think it's the greatest thing to keep terming every emotion. Hence, Janishji, I personally don't agree to what you've said in a few ways, more than one. Like I've said, that even women don't go out and start talking about publicly, talking about men's underwear and whatever. No, they don't do it. I've never heard it.
So, Ashuji, when it comes to the context of the scene, I'm talking about it. When he's gone
No, I
bra
agree.
shopping, yeah,
No, I
there's nothing
agree.
more to
But
it. Yeah.
no, but when you talk about context of the scene, you're generalizing it, no? Because the scene is also is a very generic kind of a scene where they made a comment on a very general form. So for me, that is why that whole, and that is why it was very important for Ranveer to have countered it, and it got balanced brilliantly. He said it. He said it. वो बोलता भी है कि हम लोग जब गले
Correct.
मिलते हैं, हम जब किसी को करते हैं, हमारे तो दिमाग में भी नहीं आता है. Not that किसी ने सिखाया नहीं. मतलब मैं बताऊं कि हम जब छोटे थे, हम लोग बड़े होते थे, तो इफ वन ऑफ द फ्रेंड वाज अ लिटिल डार्क, हम लोग प्यार से उसको कालू बोल देते थे, कोई किसी को बंदर बोल देता था, कोई किसी को घोड़ा बोल देता, वॉट एवर दैट दे वुड डू इन टर्म्स ऑफ दोस्ती में. They were not saying it out of meaning it. It was a fondness that was coming, and they had fun with it, and they all grew up with that. Now, if somebody had to come and teach you that, aren't you taking away heart from that entire emotion? And emotion
So,
is all about heart, no?
So Ashuji, let me tell you one thing about this is very personal to me too. So my surname is Murgai, right? And
Okay.
till date, my friends call me Murgi or Murga,
Hmm.
and for me it's a term of endearment. nothing more to it,
Hmm.
right? But if a third person or a new person comes and listens to it, how can they call you that? I said,
No,
I
true.
just simply, I absolutely tell them, "Hey, bhai, this is between me and them. I am cool
Correct.
with them calling me that. It's, they love me that way. They've been calling me that way since childhood, and it's absolutely fine. So I understand and I absolutely agree with. That's why that scene, that monologue of Ranveer Singh also hit me hard. कि हम तो प्यार से अब चीज करते हैं, उसका मीनिंग ये लोग कैंसिल कल्चर में ये लोग हर चीज को कैंसिल कर देते हैं आजकल. So that again is absolutely, I resonate with the whole thing.
You know,
No
I
one
want to
came
come
to
in
teach
here.
us.
I want to come in here, taking off from what Janish has said and what Ashuji has said about that monologue, because he said things like, I don't remember because it's been a while since I've seen the film. But the essence of that was that he said, we don't know what to say anymore because everything that we say is taken in a wrong sense. So I don't know, I'm helpless, or something to that effect. So I don't even know. So that's the crux of that monologue, that in today's times, everything has become about cancel culture, everything has become about fat shaming, everything has become about being woke or whatever. So we don't know. So we are kind of on tenterhooks. But to come back to that bra scene, now, Karan Johar has said in interviews that he goes bra shopping with his mother. Fair enough. Fantastic. If he does that. What I want to say about that scene is when you're trying to make a point to hit home somewhere, then it's wonderful that you're doing that. But if you're doing it in a manner that is just to make it sensational, to make Ranveer Singh purposely put on that
Wear it.
bra,
Wear it.
yeah, that was a flat joke and it did not work for me at all.
Nalini ji, it wasn't funny at all. It wasn't funny. मैं तो ये बोल रहा हूँ.
Acceptable नहीं था.
What Ranveer comes back with a retort, that worked for me.
Yeah.
Nalini, the scene in that lingerie store, that didn't work for me because I could clearly see that वो जो ending का जो message है, quote unquote, which is very good. What she says is true actually. Indian men are probably very uncomfortable in a lot of these situations. But वो सीन मैं क्लियरली देख सकता हूँ कि ये स्क्रीन प्ले में ये सीन ऐसे लिखा होगा कि पहले वो 4 लाइन लिखी गई है कि चुन्नी गांगुली is gonna say this at the end, and then the entire thing was constructed. So it looked very ill fit, and it did not fit well. उसको जबरदस्ती वो वहां पे अनकंफर्टेबल बनाने का कोई पॉइंट नहीं था. The same message could have been delivered in a much better way, in a much subtle way, and in a way where the other person is educated and not insulted.
Yes, absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head.
So, Nalini ji, I just like to come in here. That scene actually was constructed in such a way that she wanted to insult him, right? That was the point of the whole scene, that he should feel unwelcome.
Why?
That's what I felt.
Unwelcome, yes, but taking him to a lingerie store to make him unwelcome, she made him unwelcome in the house only, na?
No, she told him that she's going lingerie shopping. He didn't get, because of his English again, he didn't get that part. He should have. He still went along. He didn't realize where he was going apparently. But when he goes there, he starts getting uncomfortable, and she sees that, and she uses that moment to, I guess, just teach him further. You can say that. That's what I felt. Yeah.
Okay.
If they had written it purely from that angle, na Janish bhai, which actually her point is also to insult him. Correct, fair point. She's looking for things to condescend him, all of that. But ये scene मेरे लिए कहाँ फंस जाता है कि insult करना है insult करो, message देना है message दो, right? दोनों एक. Then you are muddling it, because see, as somebody in a scene, always, especially in a scene like this, the audience will always be bent towards one person. In this, if the agenda was to pass on a message, then the audience ka sympathy and the audience should be completely behind Churni Ganguly in this case when she's making that point, right? If she's insulting him on the other end, then the audience will be behind Ranveer, because he is actually a good at heart guy who's being insulted.
Exactly.
But as an audience, मेरे साथ अभी क्या हो रहा है कि for the first half I'm here, I'm thinking कि यार ये insult कर रही है, and then when I start hating Chunni Ganguly's character for what she is doing to him, she suddenly throws this message at me. तो मतलब कहाँ जाए? ऑडियंस। उस हिसाब में मुझे लग रहा है कि थोड़ा सा फोर्स फिट लिखा गया है ऑन पेपर।
Yeah, there were a lot of such moments in the film.
So for me, I'll tell you my point of view. I absolutely loved I loved Ranveer Singh's performance. I loved Alia Bhatt's performance. I loved the monologue. Monologue is outstanding. I loved the extravaganza in the film. The big screen thing, entertainment, the big screen feel comes with that extravagance that is seen on screen. You know, the one thing that I have to give Karan Johar is that he's got an outstanding ear for music. His music is always very to the mark, really, really nice. Somehow, I think this film's music, uh, I don't know if you guys can remember, मतलब मुझे एक खाली वो व्हाट झुमका याद है और फिर वो पुराना वाला गाना
आशीष जी,
झुमका गिरा
इस
रे।
फिल्म का एक भी गाना मुझे ना याद है और ना याद रहेगा। मुझे इस फिल्म
हाँ
में बस वही बैकग्राउंड में जो पुराने गाने चल रहे हैं ना, वो याद रहेंगे और उसमें मैं मजा लूंगी, और वो मुझे बहुत इंजॉयमेंट भी हुई थी।
हाँ, तो वो चीज जो है वो मुझे लगता है कि वहां पे थोड़ा मार खाया है इन्होंने, बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ परफॉर्मेंसेस मुझे ये दोनों के परफॉर्मेंस आउटस्टैंडिंग लगे. दे आर रियली रियली नाइस. दे आर मैग्नेटिक. दे कैन होल्ड द स्क्रीन and they come out very naturally. Yes, Ranveer Singh's performance is a little on your face, but I think he's played that character very well, because you can see when he wants to underplay something, you can see it in Gully Boy, where he's really underplayed it if need be. So I think he understands the character and he goes straight for it. So I was very happy with the performances that I saw. I was I was moved personally on the death of Dharamji's character. That whole sequence has been taken fairly well. So these are my strong points or finer points as far as the film is concerned.
Sandeep?
Yeah. So a couple of things from what all we discussed till now, like regarding the music. Again, I've liked the music of Karan Johar's film in the past, even though the films didn't work for me. But in this particular film, I don't think I remember any song. Again, except for the hook line of What Jhumka, right? Nothing beyond that. But the old songs used more than made up for it. And could also be that they are so stuck in our head, those songs, and for the kind of longevity the songs have had, right? And we have all been singing those songs forever.
Yeah.
So probably that overshadowed everything else. But regarding the original music, I don't think anything worked for me. And we also spoke about the monologue and that and the scene in the lingerie shop.
Right.
So the two things, the good part first, Ranveer's monologue worked for me, especially because it spoke about a very important thing which I have been discussing in circles for quite some time now. This whole, first of all, this whole funda of labeling things, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you label things, rather. You can't label people here. इंसान में कुछ तो फर्क है.
And emotions.
And emotion. And every person, depending on the context that we are talking about, can be many things, right? Human beings contain multitudes, as one of my favorite podcaster, Amit Verma, likes to say all the time. And it is true, right? And political correctness, like somebody has said, is a ongoing process. And that is the whole part of you becoming aware, right? I won't use the word woke because it has been used and abused. I don't know kahan se wake up kar rahe hain aur kaun si neend mein hai. But this awareness is a continuous process. Each one of us, the amount of political and social awareness we had yesterday would be different from what we had today. हम चार ऐसे बैठ के बात करने में दो नई चीजें हम सीख सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
Absolutely.
And that is the whole point. And that is why you can label things, but you can't label humans. We change. हम लोग स्कूल में बहुत कुछ बोलते थे. Like Janish bhai also said, we all had random nicknames for all our friends, and nobody remembers the actual name of the person today. You still call him by that. But अभी कॉन्टेक्स्ट पे डिपेंड करता है. मैं ऑफिस में किसी रैंडम बंदे को उठा के if I call him out on his skin color or about his body size or anything like that, right? That is the context. There I am being racist if I call somebody that. But अगर
Absolutely.
मैं बचपन के किसी दोस्त को बुला रहा हूँ, that, like Janish bhai said, is a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Yes, we did not know better, but also yes, we were not saying it from a racist point of view. तब पता ही क्या था racism क्या होता है.
Exactly.
There is a certain need for cancel culture and why it came about. Okay, but like they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It started with good intentions, but the way it has gone now, right? This constant need of people to do virtual signaling, to cancel anything and everything that goes away from what certain person is thinking, and ये cancel कर करके कुछ बचेगा नहीं end में.
कुछ इंटेलेक्चुअलाइज करने की कोशिश करते रहते हैं और वो इंटेलेक्चुअलाइज कभी करने की जरूरत नहीं होती है.
Yeah, and there are things, Nalini, that we might be doing today, which we would learn of something else tomorrow that will tell us that what we did today was wrong, and that is
Yeah.
perfectly fine. That because we are growing,
We evolve as human beings, right? We learn.
we evolve.
But you know, to make a point, like I'll give you a specific instance, which in Rocky or Rani. Now, because there are so many things put into it, because Karan Johar has wanted to speak about so many things, right? He's spoken about prejudices. He's spoken about, and all important things about abusive marriages. He's, without speaking about it, they're there in the film. He's put cancel culture and all this with the brass scene. But there's one thing which was said just like a throwaway, which kind of told me, arey yaar, this could have been a better way. Because that scene, I don't remember the whole sequence, Sandeep or Janish, but there is a point in this where Ranveer says, Black Lives Matter. Like, do you remember that?
Yeah, while having coffee.
What was that? I mean, that is not being serious about that, right? And you know what didn't work for me in Rocky or Rani was this constant, I don't know what to say. Bengali family hai, Punjabi family hai, stereotype hai, इतना बुद्धू लड़का है, अंग्रेजी इसको बोलनी नहीं आती, इसकी बहन बहुत अच्छी अंग्रेजी बोलती है, लेकिन वो बंगाली के घर में जाके he has to mistake Rabindranath Tagore's photograph or painting for something else. So these are just to create laughs. Sandeep, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you when you say, sorry, it's not a question of agreeing. But since you spoke about that scene that you liked, I liked what Alia did in that scene. She caught him by his jabda and she said, तुम बोलने क्यों नहीं देते हो किसी को?
Yes.
लेकिन वो सीन क्या है संदीप? वो उसका डायलॉग बहुत अच्छा है. 2 गाड़ियां उसके पीछे जाती है, एक्सीडेंट कर रहे हो आप बीच रास्ते में, उसको कुछ बताने के लिए, और वहां पे कोई और गाड़ी नहीं आ रही ना, till she finishes the entire monologue. So yes, suspension of disbelief hai.
That's exactly. So like I mentioned, right, Nalinji, you can see a lot of these things through the film, and in probably a film where I did not like it, I would have pulled apart these things and said ki ye kaise ho raha hai. But I kind of gave into the suspension of disbelief for that immediate entertainment that the film was giving me.
No, I gave into the suspension of disbelief because I know it's a Karan Johar film.
And that.
Because I'm one of those people who enjoyed Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. That film hasn't aged well at all. But for me, I enjoyed that film because in 1998, when it came, it was fresh. The music was good. Halanki, we've all grown up on Archie comics. But for me, that emotion that she waited for her love for 8 years, because I'm a crazy romantic. And that's why it worked for me. But I enjoyed that. हालांकि उसमें इतना सस्पेंशन ऑफ डिसबिलीव है जिसकी कोई हद ही नहीं है. But again, I love the fact that he used background music of old retro songs because we are all crazy about them. So that was really nice.
Yes, absolutely. Those are the lovable moments. Yeah,
they were really, really nice. Alia Bhatt, like I've said before, was fantastic. Ranveer was very good. Acting ko, I don't think you can fault anybody really. And like Janish pointed out, Tota Roy Chaudhary was fantastic. And I too loved that dance, Janish. That was so fantastic. I can't tell you, it was so nice. And it brought out, but I want to go back to the akhada. ऐसा अखाड़ा आपने देखा है क्या?
Colosseum है वो.
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल. Colosseum है with 10,000 people there. मतलब ठीक है, करण जौहर की फिल्म है तो आप बोलते हो चलो एंजॉय करो. लेकिन करण जौहर की फिल्म है तो ये सही है, लेकिन इस फिल्म में बहुत सारी मैसेजेस डाली हैं, राइट, एंड करेक्ट मैसेजेस डालनी भी चाहिए थी। एक दो, जैसे मैंने बोला ना कि वो rubbing the affair of a person into that was very distasteful for me personally. And to make Jaya Bachchan make all those faces, which for me wasn't acting. She's a better actor than that. Just making faces doesn't make her a bad person, you know.
बट प्यार दीवाना होता है ना नीचे, फिल्मों में एटलीस्ट।
अरे फिल्मों में, लेकिन इतना तुम उसके मुंह पे जाके तुम उसके उसके सामने ही बैठ के कर रहे हो, मतलब क्या बताना चाहते हो आप, क्या कर रहे हो? जब वो उनको बाहर लेके जा रहे थे, that was okay. Both of them were engineering that they meet in the parks. All that was very nice, but I don't understand what that was. आशु जी?
तो मैं तो थोड़ा, मुझे प्रॉब्लम है उस वाले सीन में जहाँ पे there is like a kiss on the lips. It is embarrassing for the family even if he goes and hugs her. So to take it a little further and wanting to kiss her on the lips is something that I personally, so it depends. Various people may like it, various people may not like it. But मेरे को तो, मुझे नहीं समझ में, I didn't really enjoy that as much because मुझे लगा था कि आप दूसरे के घर में आए हो, आप उसके मिलना चाहते हो तो ये ओके, ठीक है। मे बी उन्होंने क्या कहा कि इट्स अ ट्रिगर, द ट्रिगर इज इन अ वे दैट हिज मेमोरीज कम बैक इन सम फॉर्म और द अदर। वो मेमोरीज आई भी, बट अगर वो ट्रिगर है सिर्फ मेमोरीज को वापस लाने के लिए, तो फिर आप उसके जज्बातों को भी खड़ा कर रहे हो, बार में उसको पार्क में ले जाकर के आपस में गवा रहे हो, और ये लोग भी गा रहे हैं, और दोनों जो है पोता पोती हैं रिस्पेक्टिवली।
जी,
तो मुझे तो इंसेस्ट लगा कहीं पे, बट ठीक है, दूसरों को नहीं लगेगा कि ठीक है इनकी शादी थोड़ी हुई है, ये माँ बाप थोड़ी है, बट फिर भी आप जब रिश्ता बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हो दादा दादी का, और वही पोता पोती भी आपस में फिर प्यार कर रहे हैं, तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि ये क्या क्या है। मुझे नहीं, पर्सनली मुझे नहीं समझ में आया, बट हो सकता है लोगों को एक्सेप्ट हो रहा हो, तो मैं इसलिए उसमें मैं कुछ बोलना नहीं चाहता हूँ। मैं एग्री नहीं करता हूँ उस रिलेशन में।
आशु जी, kiss तो per se the kiss was very beautiful, but like you're saying, and I'm saying, the situation, how it was done.
हाँ,
So,
मैं किसके बारे में बात, मतलब किस तो ठीक है,
yeah,
इट वाज स्वीट, बट आई एम
yeah,
सेइंग उसको कॉन्टेक्स्ट अगर आप दे दो, कहाँ किया है, किसके साथ किया है, किस किस कारण किया है, और कौन लोग थे वहां पे, तब आप बताओ कि क्या लगता है।
सही है।
एनीवे, चलिए ठीक है। आई मीन फिल्म है, फिल्म को फिल्म की नजर से देखें और सस्पेंडेड डिसबिलीफ पे आप लेके जाएं तो इट्स ओके, फाइन। आई मीन आई डोंट रियली हैव टू मच टू से इन दैट। दैट इज व्हाई आई हैव अ फीलिंग, ये सारी चीजें अगर करेक्ट होती ना, मुझे पर्सनली लगता है कि अगर ये सारी चीजें रिलेशनशिप में और ये सारी चीजों में करेक्ट होती, तो जो संदीप ने कहा ना कि शायद ये फिल्म मेरे साथ नहीं रहेगी, आई माइट फॉरगेट द फिल्म, देन यू विल नॉट फॉरगेट द फिल्म, यू विल रिमेंबर इट, बिकॉज ये सारी चीजें कहीं ना कहीं सबकॉन्शियस में आपको अखर रही हैं, इसलिए आपको फिल्म जो है ना बहुत गहराई में जाकर के लगती नहीं। आज हम लोग बैठ करके हम लोग गाइड के ऊपर पॉडकास्ट किया, गाइड कब रिलीज हुई है, और आज हम
1965.
पॉडकास्ट, करेक्ट है ना, 65 में रिलीज हुई है, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द फिल्म इन 2023 एंड इट स्टिल अफेक्ट्स अस, द म्यूजिक अफेक्ट्स अस, द रिलेशनशिप, द डायलॉग, everything affects us, and that's how classics are made. And when you're making a film, so everybody tries to make a classic, nobody tries to make a film which is not a classic in any form. In his own way he's done whatever he's felt right about it. मैं अपनी बात कर रहा हूँ पर्सनल सब्जेक्टिव लेवल पे, मुझे ये चीज जो है वो अपील नहीं की है। दैट इज वाई मैंने कहा था बिगिनिंग में कि मुझे फिल्म ओके लगी, और मैं अभी वही चीज फिर से कहता हूँ कि बहुत सारी चीजें जो है वो कुछ कुछ होता है में भी ठीक नहीं है, बट मुझे कुछ कुछ होता है बहुत पसंद है पिक्चर।
जी, मुझे
I
भी।
love the film. I love the romance. I love the music. There is so much stuff in the film that I like. There is so much about Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum that I like. So I'm saying this man has a mastery in relationship. He has a mastery in trying to, जो गड़ी हुई चीज है ना उसको स्क्रीन पे खड़ा करने में he is very good. He is very very good. बट ये जो इवॉल्विंग रिलेशनशिप जो है, इवॉल्विंग जनरेशन को अपीज करने के लिए जो रिलेशनशिप इसने यहाँ दिखाया है, जो मुझे लगता है उसने कभी अलविदा ना कहना में भी कोशिश की, दोनों जगह पे ना मुझे कैंक समझ में आई और ना मुझे ये समझ में आई रिलेशनशिप के लेवल के ऊपर। दैट इज ऑल इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्टोरी एंड रिलेशनशिप। मुझे ये चीजें जो है वो मेरे को अपील पर्सनली नहीं की।
जी, मुझे ना कैरेक्टर्स अगर बात करोगे तो मुझे वो रणवीर का जो फ्रेंड बना ना, मुझे उसका काम बहुत पसंद आया। आई विश ही वाज देयर मोर। उसका, उस एक्टर का भी काम, उसका, उसके सारे डायलॉग्स, वो जो उसकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज और जो वो ह्यूमर कर रहा था, दैट वाज रियल ह्यूमर फॉर मी।
नहीं नहीं, बहन ने भी बहुत अच्छा काम किया है।
बहन ने, दैट्स अंजलि, अंजलि आनंद।
अंजलि,
या,
अंजलि has done very well.
वेरी
She's
वेल,
done very very well.
वेरी वेल, या।
Even the father, the mother of Alia, I don't know the name of those actors unfortunately, but even they have done, I think performance wise, Karan Johar has done a remarkable job in trying to extract absolutely right performances from everyone.
Except Jaya Bachchan, I didn't like her performance at all. It for me was a performance, and she's a better actress than that. Because all they did was to make her look sullen and make faces. It's fine. She's an unhappy person. That's okay. I understand that. But कितने मूव्स जया जी ने बनाए हैं इसमें? कितने लेफ्ट राइट मूव बना रही हैं पूरी फिल्म में?
अच्छा, मैं कुछ एक, अभी मुझे पता नहीं ये कंट्रोवर्शियल है कि नहीं, बट मैं इसी लाना चाहता हूँ। हो सकता है मेरी खुद की इमेजिनेशन बोल रही हो, बट कितनों को लगा कि ये फिल्म जो है, ये रेखा की खूबसूरत जो है फिल्म उसकी तरह है, उसी दायरे में, जहाँ पे जया जी का रोल दीना पाठक ने किया है और रेखा का रोल जो है वो आलिया भट्ट कर रही है, जहाँ पे आके एक दबदबे घर में एक 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 फीमेल कैरेक्टर का दबदबा है, जहाँ पे सारे उसके सामने, उनके सामने गिग्गी बने रहते हैं, वहां पे सब कुछ आके धीरे धीरे खुलती है वो।
बिल्कुल, मुझे भी वही लगा, एग्जैक्टली वहीं से उठाया है, या दैट मस्ट बी द इंस्पिरेशन।
हालांकि मुझे खूबसूरत बहुत पसंद है पर्सनली, इट्स सच अ ब्रिलियंटली डेलिकेटली ट्रीटेड फिल्म। उसका म्यूजिक भी अच्छा है, एक्टर्स ने कमाल काम किया है, दादा मुनि अशोक कुमार ने आउटस्टैंडिंग किया, अशोक जी ने, मतलब everybody is too good in that film, really really that film stays with you and for how long, even now it remains with you। मुझे उस फिल्म में और इस फिल्म में उस दायरे में सिमिलैरिटी लगी, सो आई वांटेड टू जस्ट पुट इट आउट कि आप लोगों को भी किसी को लगी क्या वो।
मुझे लगा।
Yeah, absolutely. Like the moment I saw them talking about that, even the trailer, I totally agree with you there. Absolutely.
और वो शायद खूबसूरत में था कि दादामुनि को तबला बजाना बड़ा अच्छा लगता था, बट वो तबला नहीं बजाते थे। यहाँ पे मदर को गाना बहुत पसंद है, लेकिन गाती नहीं है वो, आउट ऑफ वेदर इट्स रिस्पेक्ट और फियर और व्हाटएवर ऑफ द हस्बैंड एंड द हस्बैंड्स मदर। तो ये सारी चीजें जो है ना, मुझे everything is cannot be similar, it's not possible, but मुझे similarity in plot points and in premise मुझे दिखा।
Like he's also giving in this film, he's giving tributes now to Manmohan Desai. He's probably given a tribute to Rishi Rai. He definitely wanted to do that one. He said so himself. बर्फ में शिफॉन साड़ी में डाल के गाना शूट करना था as a tribute to Yash or something. So he's done all these things. So probably, of course, this also must be taken from there. So all these things were fine. The first half of the film is definitely enjoyable. The second, and it's a very long film also. It's close to, it was 2 hours 40 minutes or something, I think, I don't know. And the second half was labored, and it became a bit much. The monologue is fantastic. Ranveer Singh's monologue is really, really, really hits home. It hits all the right points. Whoever's written that has done a great job.
Even वो वाला सीन जहाँ पे कॉन्फ्रंटेशन होता है बिटवीन द फादर एंड आलिया, जहाँ पे वो बोलता है कि तूने हाथ कैसे उठाया, वो सीन बहुत अच्छा ट्रीट किया है।
very well done।
और वो सीन में मतलब पूरा, हालांकि परफॉर्मेंसेस वगैरह बहुत ही अच्छे हैं, बट इट्स अ कंप्लीट डायरेक्टर सीन, इट्स अ ब्रिलियंट सीन, वेरी वेल डन।
I agree। Yeah, Sandeep?
Yeah, absolutely। And and it was realistic, right? मतलब ये ऐसी ख्वाबों की दुनिया में सेट नहीं है। You might a person might hate his father or dislike him, and he might love the girl to the end of the world। But वो एक जो छोटा सा लाइन है ना, actually उसने हाथ नहीं उठाया था in a way, whatever, right? But it was perceived like that by him, and that point is enough for that guy to lose his shit। And
exactly,
it is realistic कि मतलब जो बोलना है बोलो, मैं भी इनके खिलाफ हूँ, लेकिन ये नहीं कर सकती. This is where I draw the line.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah.
उसकी
वो
लिखाई भी
बोलता भी है
अच्छी
ना,
है.
वो बोलता भी है ना, मैं हैंडल कर रहा था ना, मैं हैंडल कर रहा हूँ ना, मेरे से बात कर रहे हैं ना, तेरे को ये करने की क्या जरूरत थी?
Actually, that's one of the best scenes of the film, actually, if you look
हाँ,
back.
I agree. I agree. It's a
Yeah.
very effective scene. Actually, he even tells her, "I'll talk to them tomorrow," or something like that. But she says, "No, go now." You know, that kind of thing. इशारों में बातें होती हैं, and so it's an impactful scene. It's a powerful scene. I agree. Where he does stand up for his family, though he doesn't agree with them. So he draws a line. So I absolutely feel that too. It's a very well written scene. The writers have done a decently good job overall.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the dialogues also very good. Some of the dialogues. Any outstanding dialogue? We've spoken about a couple of them. Anything else that comes to mind?
I can't think of I can't recall the exact dialogue, but that portion where Tota Roy Chaudhary also kind of gets a monologue within the larger scene, where he tells about his problems and how he was made fun of. That portion really worked for me. And as a performer, see, I have been watching Tota Roy Chaudhary for what now? For 10-15 years easily in Bengali cinema, right? And of late, he even went to the extent of doing Feluda in the web show directed by Srijit. So he is a trained martial artist, and he is, to loosely use the word macho, right, that we use in a stereotypical sense.
Yes.
He has played those characters. And if you look at his gait and his the way he speaks and all of that, right, because he's a damn good footballer, he's a trained martial artist, he has that kind of a persona on him. It's a powerful persona. For Tota Roy Chaudhary to then break that and switch to this role and not make it a caricature and make us feel like he is that guy, that I think is a win in my book.
Phenomenal. I mean, I didn't know about his body of work. Now that you're telling me, and for somebody who's got an image like that, and for somebody who's got these kind of capabilities, then to challenge himself in doing a performance of this kind of a character is phenomenal. It's brilliant.
And
Really, really nice.
Yeah. And Sandeep, you said that he's convincing. I'm telling you, he didn't make it a caricature at all. And he's not even a dancer.
He is. He isn't a dancer at all. I was telling my
Yeah.
wife during the scene that this guy is not a dancer.
Yeah.
Because otherwise Bengali, they would have used it in one or the other film, right? They've never showcased that part of him. So I was pretty sure that he's not a dancer.
He's not.
And I was telling him, this is Feluda, and Feluda is written in that way, right? The voice, he fits that actually in a way. But for him to do this without making it a caricature, I believed for those 15, 20, 30 minutes, however time he was on screen, that he is this guy.
Oh, yes.
After seeing him for 15 years, and if I could break that, I was like, good job.
Well, it's a very good job, in fact. A brilliant job. He was very, very convincing. And as Nariniji also said, not a caricature at all. The only Bengali caricature you can say was the Alia's ex-boyfriend or whatever he was. Again, that they had that typical music again, which was caricaturish. That Shona or something, they have something. I can't recall right.
His name is Somen in the film.
Somen, yes, Somen is his name. And I found his character caricaturish, to be honest. But maybe that was by design.
I think it's by design because Namit Das is a phenomenal actor, a stage actor, singer, and films. Namit Das, I once told him, I saw his play 2-3 times, and I went the third time and took some friends. And then I went back and I said, Namit, I'm really jealous of your talent. He's such a talented boy. So yeah, that was by design, I guess, Janish. And
yes.
Yeah, he's a very
that was by design, and it also clearly looked like he is a stand-in in that film for someone.
It was by design, I'm sure. And since we're talking about things which didn't work, there was one thing, I'm just saying it now because otherwise I'll forget it. Right in the beginning, when the film begins, you see her putting on, there's a voiceover or something, right? And telling us that she's an anchor, a TV anchor or something. And she's getting all dressed up in typical Karan Johar style. You can see her back, her little skimpy little blouse. She puts on her sari. She comes there and she sits and she's going to interview a politician. I really want to ask you all, what did you think of that scene, that interview with the politician?
I didn't think much highly of that scene, but also I didn't expect that scene to be any better, to be very frank, because uh, Janish bhai asked me at the start of this also, this podcast as well, that why did My Name is Khan not work for me? Because I can clearly see that the awareness of the geopolitics around us is not there in that script. It is just written on a very superficial level, and so was this scene. So it is not written well. It did not work for me, but also I didn't expect it to be written well. To be very frank.
It was a very superficial scene, to be honest.
Yes.
That they just wanted to show her being a firebrand of a person, I guess. Yeah, you can say that. That's it.
Ashiji, what did you think of that scene right in the beginning when she's interviewing, obviously, a very senior politician?
So for me, a firebrand anchor can be very stoic and still be able to, put her point across in a way that can make the person uncomfortable without really insulting him in a way. I'm just by information and knowledge, you can do something where that guy is uncomfortable and he says, "Shut it! I'm not going to be a part of it." But I don't think she was stoic. I don't think she was coming across as somebody who's uh, you know graceful. She came across as an arrogant individual who just wanted to prove her point, whether it is for the screen, for the character, or for the audiences. That is what came across, and that is why I sort of it didn't resonate with me. That scene, it didn't work for me at all.
You know, that was the beginning of the film. And I think the director, writers, everybody lost me there only. So I had gone with sub-zero expectation. And then I said, oh my God, what are they showing? But then, of course, it picked up because Ranveer came and, it picked up. And then there were some really nice things in the film. The way she's spoken to that politician, the way she's just accusing him to his mind, nobody does that. She openly accused him to his face that aap to politician hai, aap to aise karenge, ye karenge, wo, whatever, with very harsh language. So if you remember a film made by Shankar called Nayak.
Yeah.
Right. With Anil Kapoor and Amrish Puri. Okay. Now, in that scene, Anil Kapoor is actually not even aggressive. He's just asking him questions which are making him so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's not at all aggressive, but he's not giving up. And it's when, I don't know who does, Saurabh Shukla is, I think, the sidekick. And he's saying, camera band karo, camera band karo. And Johnny Lever is not camera band nahi kar raha. Aur wo sab Amrish Puri ke close-ups bhi le raha hai. And you can make out that Amrish Puri is very, very uncomfortable till he says, band karo ye, tum kya samajhte ho? Ek din ke liye tum chief minister. So that was, I enjoyed that scene. Again, that scene was playing to the gallery. No, Sandeep?
So the journalist written there is not like a journalist taken from reality, but a version of journalist that is seen in cinema. मतलब हिंदी सिनेमा में जर्नलिस्ट ऐसा होना चाहिए या होता है कुछ फिल्मों में. It's taken from that kind of an angle. And again, Mudalwan or Nayak is a very good example of doing that, right? He provokes the chief minister, but not it is done very subtly. He goes there in there is a build-up. You don't straight away go for the juggler with a politician, right? It will not work.
Yeah.
He goes there slowly. There is a build-up, and then he reaches that crescendo where he says he's forced to rather fall into this trap of giving him chief ministership for the day. I know this particular scene is not crucial to the film, but if you wanted to establish somebody as a firebrand journalist, you set it up a little better. It's like how they do these days, right? When they want to show a woman as being a free thinker, the easiest way to do it on screen these days seems to be just that, hand her a cigarette.
Oh gosh, yes, we spoke about it. Remember in that podcast?
Yeah, we spoke about that.
Oh, Scoop ka podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is this is lazy writing.
Absolutely. Pata hai, Sandeep, I think what you've just said, to take off from there, this is just you, like you're saying, to show her as a firebrand, but it's also, it made me laugh because later on in the film, you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to establish the fact that she's very learned. She's gone to this university, she's studied here, she's done that, she's done this, and she knows about geopolitics. Or tum kya ho bhai, she says. So they're trying to show a contrast between how learned she is, how well versed in geopolitics and everything she is, and how this guy is just a
Duh.
duh. And actually, he's not a duh at all, because come on, isn't he looking after his grandmother's business?
No, I think the father is looking after the business.
So what is this guy doing then?
Having protein shake.
Having protein shake and delivering big
Acha.
laddus for birthdays and all.
Acha. Okay. I
But
thought
I
he
think
was
they
also
show that in some way he's involved in the business.
yeah.
He is when they
Somewhere.
do the communication of a commercial, and where Alia Bhatt comes and says that how can you like this? So I think he plays a very important role over there in terms of trying to correct the communication in a commercial.
Oh, that was a very good scene. Soch wahi swad naya or something.
And that is how you put in wokeness or cancel culture and whatever you want to, right? That is how you write it in a scene.
Yeah.
Not just randomly saying ki cancel this. No, she's actually putting up an argument and saying we'll keep the soul of what you're trying to communicate intact, but we'll remove this packaging that is outdated. It won't work today, and it won't work today because there are men also doing things that women used to do. There is no demarcation of roles like how it was earlier. That is well written.
Absolutely.
So Janish ji, I have a question for you. आपको पता है वेस्ट बंगाल कहाँ पे है?
That was a funny scene. They tried to make it funny. It was not very funny for me, honestly.
No, मुझे तो funny लगा, मुझे interesting लगा. कि वो बोलता है वेस्ट बंगाल किधर है? वेस्ट में, obvio. बोलता है अरे नहीं ईस्ट में. No, ये trick question था. दूसरा try कर ले.
That was the funny part. A trick question था, that way. Yeah, agree. That was a little bit funny.
तो overconfident guy who believes he knows everything बोला आज मैं तेरी गूगल की ऐसी तैसी कर दूंगा. I thought that was fairly well written also. That was well done. So इसमें ऐसे छोटे-छोटे anecdotes जो है ना, छोटे-छोटे punches, they were really interesting and laughable. There's no question about it.
No, even when he celebrates a birthday also, that's a very cute scene, lovely scene also again.
हाँ, इसमें गाना है actually, वो जो गाना है तुम क्या मिले, that is a good song. तुम क्या मिले
The dream sequence which she has.
That's a good song.
Yes, it's a decent song.
Yeah,
it's not a very memorable song, but it's a decent song.
But that is the only song I can recall of the new lot of songs that has been recorded in Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahani.
I agree with you. The music is not very memorable overall. It's passable, to be honest.
The other thing is, I think by this. So, अगर आप घर पे आओ और इस फिल्म के बारे में बात करो, तो इस फिल्म के बारे में बहुत सारी चीजें आप जो है बोलोगे हाँ नहीं ये ठीक नहीं, लेकिन थिएटर के अंदर बैठे बैठे अगर आपने इंजॉय किया है फिल्म को, तो फिल्म अच्छी है, फिर फिल्म निकल गई. अब वो फिल्म कल्ट फिल्म बन जाती है जब लोग बाहर आकर के उस फिल्म के बारे में डिस्कस करते हैं, और जो बाहर डिस्कस करते हैं वो कन्विंस करता है दूसरों को फिल्म देखने के लिए कि यार ये चीजें अच्छी बोली जा रही है, मैं भी देखना चाहता हूं. नाउ यू हैव अ कल्ट फिल्म जिसको वर्ड ऑफ माउथ बोलते हैं.
Yeah, so what you have mentioned earlier, Ashuji, is very true. And in case of a film like this, it especially rings more true. कि एक जो हमारा होता है immediate response, right? Or when you are in the moment. I believe Robert Warshaw एक critic हैं जिन्होंने किताब भी लिखी है इस पे, The Immediate Response. So one is, what did it make me feel at the moment? And is it then the later part comes, is it going to stay with me? Right? There are films जिनका पूरा का पूरा स्क्रीन प्ले हम लोगों के दिमाग में बैठ गया है. Like
छप
you
जाता
can
है.
turn off, I can put Casablanca on mute and still go through the entire film and say the dialogues myself. Right? ये उसमें भी memorable नहीं है. उस time पे there are certain things used in the film that hold you. और इट हेल्ड माय अटेंशन कि धर्म जी और शबाना जी के बीच के जो मोमेंट्स हैं, एक कुछ डायलॉग है, रणवीर सिंह लाइक गोइंग फुल ऑन इन कन्विक्शन मोड। एंड मैं नलिनी जी से अलग से इस बारे में डिस्कस भी कर रहा था कि रणवीर सिंह व्हेन ही प्लेज अ मेन स्ट्रीम हीरो कैरेक्टर, फॉरगेट द संजय लीला बंसाली लुटेरा काइंड ऑफ रोल्स, वो तो अच्छा करता है, but when he plays these kind of roles, he plays these roles with an conviction. यही यही है मेरे लिए समरी, यही होगा आशु जी की। I like the film in that moment. One of the main reasons for that is it reminded me of retro Hindi cinema in whatever way, through the use of songs, through the use of or through the casting of Dharampal ji and Shabana ji, because we have a particular grammar, a syntax of our Hindi mainstream cinema, which our filmmakers are forgetting by the day. Right? And I don't know what the problem is and who the target audience is for whom a lot of these films in the past few years were made. But that is completely going away from the grammar and syntax of what a Hindi mainstream film is supposed to be. आपको अलग पिक्चरें करनी है, ठीक है, yes, there every filmmaker has a distinct sensibility and they are fine to make the films that they want to make, but the audience of Hindi cinema, the majority at least, and even cinephiles like us who like certain kind of cinema, or why we love the Hindi mainstream cinema, right? We need something out of it, which was missing for the longest time in Hindi cinema. Abhi, this year has been relatively better, but the audience, I think earlier we used to cater to NRIs. We started catering to NRIs by the late 90s and early 2000s, which now turns out was a big mistake because we forgot our grammar, we forgot our syntax, and now we are making it for a very specific South Bombay elite kind of a club, and they are not going to fill your theaters.
You know, you've hit the nail on the head by saying something very, very critical. Because if you want the films, if in India the films have to work, they have to resonate with the masses. The multiplex gives you a lot of money because the admission rates are very, very high. But once it resonates with the masses, let me put it this way: the multiplexes give you collections, the masses give you superstars. I don't know if I
Very
agree.
well said. Very
Very
well
well
said.
said.
Which is why the superstar continues to remain in Tamil and Telugu cinema, right?
Correct.
Which is why the superstar is disappearing. Like शाहरुख खान के बाद मुझे नेक्स्ट सुपरस्टार नहीं दिख रहा है.
नहीं, रणवीर सिंह है.
रणवीर इज माय ओनली होप. He has the potential, और उसके ऊपर ही होप है मुझे, because he has the conviction that is required to pull off a Simba right after he does Lutera or something like that, right? But the majority of films that are being made today, because of which they are not reaching to the mass audience or the majority of the audience, the single screen audience, will he ever have the kind of craze that Shah Rukh Khan saw? I have my doubts. अगर ऐसे ही रहा तो I don't think so.
थोड़ा एक रणवीर सिंह के बारे में बताता हूँ कि रणवीर सिंह का क्या है ना. रणवीर सिंह ऐसा एक्टर है जो बाकी सारों को अपलिफ्ट करता है, बाकी सारों का परफॉर्मेंसेस एनहांस करता है, उनको काम करने पे मजबूर करता है. मैं बताता हूँ कैसे. एक्टर जो होती है ना, एक्टर बेसिकली वो सेल्फिश जात होती है. इट्स अ कम्युनिटी दैट इज सेल्फिश. वो ये देखता है कि मैं कैसे दिखूं, मैं कैसे परफॉर्म करूं, हाउ डू आई कम सेंटर स्टेज. इसलिए जब रणवीर परफॉर्म करता है ना, ही इज नॉट कंसर्न्ड अबाउट हाउ अदर्स आर गोइंग टू परफॉर्म, और मे बी ही इज, बट वो इतना कुछ डाल देता है अपने परफॉर्मेंस में, इतना कुछ डाल देता है कि व्हेन ही इज एक्चुअली परफॉर्मिंग, you realize that he's worked on the nuances, he's worked on his pauses, he's worked on his postures, and he raises the bar big time. कि उसके साथ में जितने लोग हैं उनको लगता है कि अगर हमने अपना बार रेज नहीं किया और अगर हमने वो मेहनत वो काम नहीं किया तो ये हमको खा जाएगा, वी गेट फिनिश्ड. सो इन अ वे, इन दैट कॉम्पिटिटिव स्पिरिट, what he has done is that he has managed to really perk up the performances of all other people around him. इसलिए रणवीर जब फ्रेम पे आता है, रणवीर जब काम करता है, वो एक्चुअली दूसरों के परफॉर्मेंसेस को भी उठा देता है.
Ranveer has a potential to be a superstar. So his last few movies, I think one was 83, which was a very good movie, and he was absolutely brilliant in that as Kapil Dev. He absolutely knocked it out of the park. But the movie didn't like work in theaters, but it did very well on OTT, and people were watching it a lot. And I think it was Jayesh Bhai Jordar, which bombed at the box office badly. So he, by his name, people don't walk into a theater still, like someone would do for a Shah Rukh Khan movie, right? As Sandeep said. So there's still time. I feel he has a lot. He has a long road ahead, and I think this the new Masala movie which is signed and he's doing Dawn, which will be a great test for that, for his stardom. To be honest, I'm hopeful that the movie will be good, and let's hope he does well because India, the industry, the Hindi film industry needs a superstar.
I just wanted to ask you a question. Whoever wants to answer first. Of course, he's a good actor. There's no question about it. Especially in this film, also, he's done good work. But I just wanted to ask you about this phenomenon where whichever role, and you can go back in history also, and you can speak about the present generation of actors, whichever role is in your face, it's written like that. Either it's got comic relief or it's got pain or it's got action, right? That always seems to, people end up saying, "Arey, wah, kya acting ki hai?" You know? So the way Ranveer Singh is walking away with every single accolade of this film, is it justified?
मेरे लिए जस्टिफाइड है.
So to be honest, I don't uh, know what is the kind of praise that he's getting. So I am not in the right position to comment on that. But I'll say this: uh, the man has put his heart and his conviction into this role, and every time he was on screen, I was hooked to him doing this crazy bit part. So if people are praising that, then I find it as justified. I rest, like I said, I don't know what exactly has been spoken about him and to what level. But Nandiji, I'll say that if the point is that he has overshadowed everyone in this film, I don't agree with that, because like I said, there are a lot of other things, a lot of other actors who mattered in this film, including someone as talented as Chudni Ganguly, who's done some fabulous work down in Bengal. Tota Roy Chaudhary again, who has done brilliant work there. धर्मजी और शबाना जी के बारे में तो बात कर चुके हैं हम. Amir Bashir also, he has got limited scenes where he can, truly demonstrate his skills. But वहाँ पे वो भी अच्छे हैं. और probably Jaya Baduri was shortchanged. But otherwise, it's a cumulative effort. A lot of things have gone well in the film, even performance-wise. So it's not a one-man show, for sure. And let us not forget Alia Bhatt also.
She's brilliant in the movie. She's absolutely brilliant in the movie. She's very, very good. No two ways about it. I'm a big fan of hers, and her talent is absolutely justified. Like the way people speak highly of her, she proves it time and again that she is a brilliant actress, and no two ways about it. Her scenes are with Ranveer or otherwise with Jaya Bachchan, with Dharmender. She carries herself with great elan, and her performance is absolutely sparkling. Is the right word for it. So there are no two ways about it. So for me, जितना जितना important रणवीर है इस मूवी में, उतना ही important Alia Bhatt bhi hai. She's absolutely brilliant in the movie. No two ways about it. And it's the chemistry she has with Ranveer is also again very, very good. So, and for me, the other most important and great performance was Tota Roy Chaudhary for me in the movie. He was
Hmm.
absolutely brilliant.
Hmm.
And also, Janish bhai, Alia Bhatt gets that one particular shot which is typically reserved for the or given to the male superstar in most films. When she confronts uh, um, she confronts the Dhanlakshmi, the Jayabadri character, and at the end she says "Khela hobe."
हाँ
That is that युद्ध का बिगुल बजने वाला सीन है जो normally the hero does that around interval point or something, right? जो मसाला सिनेमा या मास सिनेमा में होता है. She gets
Right,
that
right,
scene
right.
here, not Ranveer.
exactly, yeah. So when films like this come, who do you think had the more difficult part to play? Ranveer Singh as a character or Alia?
Now, I think both are equally difficult to play because they both complement each other. And if they complement each other, then do you like each other's performances as well? Today, if you are saying that Ranveer is good as well as Alia is good, so when I say Ranveer is good, doesn't mean that others are not. But if Ranveer is good, Alia is also equally brilliant, and hence they are complementing, and both are tough. Both have got a different scale of performance to do. They are on opposite ends as far as their performances is concerned. One is supposed to be underplaying, the other is overplaying it. They're two different ends of the scale. I like both of them, and both of them have difficult uh, paths to chart out.
Janish, you?
I agree with Ashuji over here. Absolutely. Though I would say that Ranveer's part maybe slightly, he's done it before actually, right? In Band
Yes,
Baja Barat.
exactly. That was the point I was coming to.
So in Band Baja Barat, he's already done this over the top kind of role
Yeah,
where he's actually uneducated and his English is not very good.
yeah.
But this is a different swag altogether,
Hmm.
which comes from being a rich guy, and which he does well. And it's absolutely like there are no similarities between the two characters. The one he did in Band Baja Barat or here, except they're both from the same area and both are over the top, but in very, very different ways. Means if you kept the two characters together, you can easily identify these two characters are absolutely, these two persons are absolutely different. That's where he scores a point, Ranveer Singh. That's what I feel.
Sandeep, is there anything you'd like to say? Anything more about the film?
No, Nalini, I think I have covered pretty much what I wanted to say about the film. And between all of us, I think we have dissected and analyzed and discussed uh, the film and everything else that was there. So, नहीं मेरी तरफ से और कुछ नहीं है.
We can just have some closing comments if you like. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, Rocky or Rani is a thumbs up. And what I forgot to say was that, when Janish, you were talking that people will not go because of Ranveer or whatever, I just wanted to say, even this film, शुरुआत आई थिंक आशु जी ने बिल्कुल शुरुआत में ही बोल दिया था कि ये सुबह सुबह जब ये रिलीज हुई थी तो इसकी ओपनिंग थोड़ी सी ठंडी थी. मुझे लगता है और मुझे कई लोगों से मैंने सुना है कि when they are hearing other people talk about it, so the word of mouth is what is giving Rocky or
Yes.
Rani the footfalls in the cinema halls, so people
True.
are enjoying it and that's why they're going. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. It's funny, it's goofy, it's emotional, it's heartfelt in moments.
आशु जी, आपके last thoughts?
So my last thoughts is that whatever opinions I think we have given over here uh, is not something that that should sort of keep you away from watching the film. You should form your own opinion, and you must go and watch the film if you feel like it. We've said our subjective point of views, our points of view to the film, and yeah, that's that. Like I've always said, that we are not critics. We are people who make observations as per our own understanding and share them with you. You may or may not agree with it, but that's our point of view.
Sandeep, last thoughts?
Yeah, so my last thoughts would be that there are certain reasons why I fell in love with Hindi cinema. There is the action, of course. There is a certain old world charm to the films that I started appreciating from the 50s. There is a certain way romance is done in Hindi films or was done for quite some time. Somewhere we have forgotten a lot of that I hope this is a step in that direction. This is definitely not the destination because there's still a long way to go. And even the things that worked for me in this film, and even though I enjoyed the film at that moment, I can still see there is a long way to go. But the takeaway for other filmmakers also from this film should be, or at least filmmakers who are operating within the mainstream space, should be that uh, don't completely let go of our grammar and syntax that is unique to Hindi cinema. That is our uniqueness. There is a certain power in that voice when it is done well. गाने फिल्म के स्क्रीन प्ले में कैसे फिट बैठते हैं, how they take the narrative forward, is an art that we had mastered at a point of time, which we are suddenly dropping because of a certain snobbery, which I also feel is snobbery is just one of the reasons. The other reason is we have somewhere forgotten the art of weaving a good song into a film. So don't let go of it. ये भी बननी चाहिए. And we of course have the other kind of films that we all like. There is nothing. It's not that one is good and one is bad. It is just about retaining something that we have and making it even better and better and better. So I hope this is a step in that direction.
Right. Okay, so my closing remarks, I went without any expectations and I came out surprised pleasantly. The first half was very enjoyable. It took me a little time for the film to warm up for me, and I cried when I saw Dharampaji. Especially the last scene where you see him, and then before also, I was moved. I never thought I'll get so emotional watching him on screen again, but that was very emotional for me. Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahani raises a lot of questions. People should go and watch this. And as always, we are an audience. These are our opinions, and we are not critics, but it's just how the film makes you feel. And Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani had some laugh out loud moments, some moments where you're smiling, some moments where you're thinking, oh my God, that's cringe. Some moments where you're thinking, okay, it's a little long, the film, but all in all, to put it very simply, it's actually entertainment. And I want to thank both my guests, Janish Murgai, and sorry, I beg your pardon, it's Janish Murgai, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See, you threw me off by saying Murgi Murgi.
You can call me Murgi, ma'am. No
You
problem.
made me conscious. You made me conscious. I said, oh
नहीं,
my
आप
God, I
मुझे
know.
मुर्गी बुला सकती है, आप कोई बात नहीं
नहीं
इसमें.
बुलाऊंगी. अच्छा. So I want to thank Janish Murgai and Sandeep Padhi, who are not guests anymore. I'm not going to call you all guests anymore, become a part of the podcast. And Ashuji, thank you so much for always being such a support and for all your thoughts and everything. And to my listeners, be with us, support us. We enjoy doing this, but we enjoy it more when we hear from you. And on that note, thank you. We'll be back again, and good night to everybody.
Good night, and hope if you like this, please share this podcast with all your friends. Please like and please follow. And like we've said always, that we are an independent podcast. We need all your love and support. And we really appreciate all kind of feedback and input that you give us. Thank you. Until the next time.